My friends, I need you to stop what you're doing right now and listen carefully, because what I'm about to share with you could mean the difference between struggling to pay your bills this month and having that extra cushion of financial security you've been praying for. If you've been checking your bank account every single day, refreshing that balance, wondering when your next Social Security payment is coming, or if you're going to receive that $2,400 deposit that everyone's been talking about, then you're in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. I know how it feels to wait by the phone, to worry about whether you'll have enough to cover your medications, your groceries, and those utility bills that just keep climbing higher and higher. You've worked your entire life, paid into the system for decades, and you deserve to know exactly what's coming to you and when it's going to arrive. So many of you have reached out to me over the past few weeks, asking about this $2,400 payment, wondering if it's real, if you qualify, and most importantly, when that money will actually hit your account. Well, my friends, I've done all the research. I've combed through the Social Security Administration's official announcements, and I'm here to give you the complete truth about who's getting this payment, why it's happening right now, and what you need to do to make absolutely certain you receive every single penny you're entitled to. Because here's what breaks my heart. I hear from people all the time who missed out on benefits simply because they didn't know they qualified, or they didn't understand the timing, or nobody took the time to explain it to them in plain English. That's not going to happen to you today. Now, let me start by saying this. Yes, there is indeed a $2,400 Social Security payment that many of you will be receiving. But before you get too excited or too disappointed, we need to talk about exactly who qualifies for this amount and why the timing matters so much. This isn't some blanket payment that everyone on Social Security is getting automatically. Instead, what we're looking at is a combination of your regular monthly benefit, plus some additional adjustments that have been made based on recent cost of living adjustments, back payments for certain qualifying individuals, and in some cases, supplemental payments that stack on top of your base benefit. Let me break this down for you in a way that makes complete sense. Because the Social Security Administration doesn't always do the best job of explaining these things in language that regular folks like you and me can understand without getting a headache. First and foremost, let's talk about your standard Social Security retirement benefits. If you're receiving regular retirement benefits in 2025, you already received a cost of living adjustment at the beginning of this year. That COLA increase was applied to your monthly check, and depending on what your benefit amount was before the adjustment, you might be seeing anywhere from an extra $50 to over $100 added to your monthly payment. Now, for those of you who are receiving the maximum Social Security benefit, because you worked for decades at high-earning jobs and you waited until age 70 to claim your benefits, your monthly payment could be approaching or even exceeding $4,000. But here's where that $2,400 figure comes into play for many of you. If you're married and both you and your spouse are collecting Social Security, or if you're receiving both your own retirement benefit plus a survivor benefit, or if you've got a combination of Social Security retirement and supplemental security income, these payments can stack up in ways that result in a combined monthly deposit of around $2,400 or even more. Let me give you a real-life example that might sound familiar. Let's say you're a widow named Mary, and you worked for 35 years as a school teacher. You're collecting your own Social Security retirement benefit of about $1,800 per month. But because your husband passed away 3 years ago, and his benefit was higher than yours, you're also entitled to receive a survivor benefit that brings your total monthly income up to about $2,400. When that direct deposit hits your account tomorrow or within the next few days, depending on your payment schedule, you're going to see that full $2,400 amount. Or let's take another example. You're a married couple, and your individual benefits are around $1,300 and $2,100 respectively. When both of those payments arrive during the same payment window, that's $2,400 landing in your joint account. And that's the money you've been waiting for to pay your mortgage, to stock up your pantry, and to finally get that prescription filled that you've been putting off. Now, here's something absolutely critical that I need you to understand about payment timing, because this is where so many people get confused and start to panic unnecessarily. The Social Security Administration operates on a very specific payment schedule, and your payment date depends on your birth date and the type of benefit you're receiving. If you were born between the 1st and the 10th of the month, your payment typically arrives on the second Wednesday of each month. If you were born between the 11th and the 20th, you're looking at the third Wednesday. And if your birthday falls between the 21st and the end of the month, your payment comes on the fourth Wednesday. However, if you've been receiving Social Security since before May 1997, or if you're receiving supplemental security income, your payment schedule is different. SSI payments arrive on the first of the month, and if you're in that older category of Social Security recipients, your payment also comes on the third of the month, regardless of your birthday. So when I say that a $2,400 payment could be arriving tomorrow, I'm talking to those of you whose payment schedule aligns with tomorrow's date based on your birth date and benefit type. If you're checking your account and you don't see it yet, don't panic. Your payment might be scheduled for later in the week or later in the month. The key is knowing your personal payment schedule and marking it on your calendar so you're not driving yourself crazy, refreshing your bank balance every hour. I promise you, the Social Security Administration is remarkably consistent with these payment dates, and once you know your schedule, you can plan your entire monthly budget around it with confidence. Now let's talk about something that might actually increase that payment amount beyond what you're expecting, because there are some hidden bonuses and credits that many seniors don't even know they're entitled to. First, if you're a veteran receiving both Social Security and VA disability benefits, those payments are completely separate, and both should be arriving in your account. Your VA disability payment doesn't reduce your Social Security, and your Social Security doesn't reduce your VA payment. These two benefits stack on top of each other, and depending on your VA disability rating, you could be receiving an additional $1,000 or more per month from the Veterans Administration. If you're a veteran and you haven't applied for VA disability benefits, my friends, you need to do that as soon as possible, because you might be leaving serious money on the table. Second, let's talk about spousal benefits and divorced spousal benefits, because this is an area where people constantly miss out on money they're entitled to. If you were married for at least 10 years and you're now divorced, you may be eligible to receive benefits based on your ex-spouse's work record, even if they've remarried. You don't need their permission, they don't even need to know you're applying, and it doesn't reduce their benefit by a single penny. If your ex-spouse earned significantly more than you did during their working years, this could mean an extra several $100s per month that you're currently not receiving. Similarly, if you're currently married and your spouse has a higher benefit amount, you might be entitled to a spousal benefit worth up to 50% of their full retirement age benefit amount. Here's where things can get a little bit tricky, and I want to make sure you understand the potential reductions that could affect your payment, because knowledge is power, and you need to know what to watch out for. If you're receiving Social Security retirement benefits, and you're still working, and you haven't yet reached your full retirement age, there's an earnings limit that could temporarily reduce your benefits. In 2025, if you're under full retirement age for the entire year, Social Security will deduct $1 from your benefits for every $2 you earn above the annual limit, which is around $22,320. Now, this doesn't mean that money is gone forever. Once you reach your full retirement age, Social Security will recalculate your benefit and give you credit for those months when your benefit was reduced. But in the short term, it could mean your monthly check is smaller than you expected, and you need to plan for that. Another reduction that catches people off guard is the Windfall Elimination Provision, or WEP, which affects people who worked in jobs where they didn't pay Social Security taxes, such as certain government positions or jobs in other countries, but who also worked long enough in Social Security-covered employment to qualify for benefits. If the WEP applies to you, your Social Security benefit could be reduced by up to half of your pension from that non-covered employment, although there is a maximum reduction limit. Similarly, the Government Pension Offset, or GPO, can reduce spousal or survivor benefits if you receive a pension from federal, state, or local government employment where you didn't pay Social Security taxes. These are complicated rules, And if you think either of these provisions might apply to you, I strongly encourage you to call the Social Security Administration or visit your local office to get a personalized calculation. Let's also talk about taxes, because this is something that surprises a lot of people when they first start receiving Social Security benefits. Depending on your total income, up to 85% of your Social Security benefits could be subject to federal income tax. Now, that doesn't mean you're paying 85% in taxes. It means that 85% of your benefit amount could be counted as taxable income. If your combined income, which is your adjusted gross income, plus non-taxable interest, plus half of your Social Security benefits, exceeds $25,000 for an individual or $32,000 for a married couple filing jointly, then a portion of your benefits becomes taxable. This is why some of you might be seeing less money in your pocket than you expected, because you need to account for tax withholding. You can ask Social Security to withhold federal taxes from your monthly payment by filling out Form W-4V, and you can choose to have 7, 10, 12, or 22% withheld. This way, you won't get hit with a huge tax bill come April that you're not prepared for. Now, let me give you some practical strategies to maximize your benefits and make sure you're getting every dollar you deserve. First, if you haven't already, create your personal My Social Security account on the official ssa.gov website. This free account lets you verify your payment amounts, check your payment history, update your direct deposit information, get your benefit verification letter, and even estimate future benefits. It's an incredibly valuable tool that gives you complete control and visibility over your benefits, and it means you don't have to sit on hold for hours trying to reach someone on the phone when you have a simple question. Second, if you're married or divorced, make absolutely certain you've explored all the benefit options available to you, including spousal benefits, survivor benefits, and divorced spousal benefits. Sometimes the optimal strategy is for the lower earning spouse to claim their benefit early, while the higher earning spouse waits until age 70 to maximize their benefit and the potential survivor benefit. Other times, it makes sense to claim spousal benefits first and then switch to your own benefit later. These decisions can mean tens of thousands of dollars over the course of your retirement, so it's worth taking the time to understand your options or even consulting with a financial advisor who specializes in Social Security planning. Third, if you're receiving SSI or SSDI, be extremely careful about reporting any changes in your income, living situation, or marital status, because failing to report these changes can result in overpayments that you'll eventually have to pay back. I've heard heartbreaking stories from people who received overpayment notices, demanding they return thousands of dollars because of unreported changes. The Social Security Administration is required by law to recover these overpayments, and while you can request a waiver or set up a payment plan, it's much better to report changes promptly and avoid the overpayment in the first place. My friends, I want to wrap this up by reminding you that you are not alone in navigating this complicated system. There are resources available to help you, from your local Social Security office to nonprofit organizations that provide free counseling on Medicare and Social Security issues. If you're feeling overwhelmed or confused, please reach out for help. You've earned these benefits through decades of hard work, and you deserve to receive everything you're entitled to without stress or confusion. Check your bank account according to your payment schedule. Verify that your direct deposit information is correct in your My Social Security account. And if that $2,400 or whatever your benefit amount should be doesn't arrive when expected, contact Social Security right away to resolve any issues. You've got this, and I'm here cheering you on every step of the way.